Welcome to Maths and Science Unpacked. We have been looking at the major topic algebra. In our last couple of videos, we have discussed extensively some things we need to know about algebra. Then we started with some of the useful skills that you need to be able to do in algebra. So, for instance, we looked at expansion and simplification. Before then, we looked at substitution. All these are very useful skills we need to have in order to be able to solve more complex algebraic questions. But today we want to look at factorization. And factorization will be taking us a bit into the more complex operations that we need to do when it comes to algebra as a math topic in high school or secondary school. So it's going to be an exciting lesson. Let's go on and first of all start with a little background about factorization. So factorization is a very important skill in maths generally, but more so in algebra. You remember I told you that when we expand an expression, we basically remove brackets, okay? And then when some like terms arise from the expansion, we simplify. Okay, so expansion always goes hand in hand with simplification. But factorization is doing the opposite of expanding. So when you expand, you remove brackets. When you are factorizing, you introduce brackets. Okay, and the purpose of introducing brackets is just to bring common factors outside of the various terms that make an expression and then keep what is not common in the bracket. Okay, that is basically factorization. Okay, we do the exact opposite of expansion. Okay, but it's not as simple as that. In fact, there are many different kinds of factorization that you will encounter in maths. And for those of you who really look forward to taking maths further, let's say if you are in Britain, you want to take maths at A levels, or maybe if you are in anywhere around the world and you still want to carry on doing some serious math at tertiary level, you will come across many different kinds of factorization. But at the secondary school or high school level, for instance, if you are preparing to take a GCSE or IGCSE for many of us around the world, or WAEC exams, for instance, or school leaving diploma certificate, you realize that we have three main types of factorization at our level. Okay, and I'll briefly mention them and then we will go and give a more detailed explanation to this. So these three are: one, common factorization. Which we will be considering in this lesson. Then there is another kind of factorization based on what we call difference of two squares. Okay, difference, and here, sorry. Difference of two squares. We will look at them. And then quadratic factorization. Okay, now these three, you will definitely encounter them throughout your high school, secondary school maths lessons. Okay, but there are many other kinds of factorization. And as I said, we won't really trouble ourselves with that kind. But should we want to take math further, then we will be looking at different kinds of factorizations like perfect square trinomials, factorization by grouping, cubic factorization, and so on. But for the purpose of our high school or secondary school maths, these are the three types of factorization that we will be looking at. Okay, now I won't be going through all three at once because I have arranged the lessons in a way that builds up towards your final exam. Okay, so these two comes a lot later when we start looking at other forms of algebra. This one also comes much later when we are looking at quadratic functions, quadratic equations, and so on. Okay. But for the introductory lessons we are having in algebra, where we are mastering the skills that we will need for algebra, we will be looking at the common factorization, the kind of factorization where we look out for common terms or common elements in an expression and then bring them outside the bracket and then keep everything inside. So let's go and look at that kind of factorization as one of the basic skills in algebra. Thank you.